Rise and shine, my people. Welcome back to the channel. This is Evan Aga at the Astro Physique. In this video, I'll be giving you 3 tips to compete and win the Summer Shredding Classic hosted by Alphalete this summer. Let's get into it. Now, this goes beyond just having a plan for your diet, having a plan for your training. We've already talked about all that, so I'm going to stay away from the obvious, and I'm going to try to give you some tips that you might not have considered before. The first tip is to practice your posing. I can't emphasize how important this is because it's what makes all the difference, really, on stage. When you're on stage, they're not measuring your biceps, they're not measuring your waist, they're judging you based off how you look. And how you look is determined by how you pose. You can easily have somebody who is not as big as someone else go up there and beat that person because they know how to show their physique off better. So the way you pose makes all the difference. It doesn't matter if someone is bigger, smaller, more shredded, less shredded. Now, to an extent, of course, it definitely matters, but when it's just a slight difference, the posing is really what distinguishes the winner from the loser. So practice your posing. You should practice your posing as much as you possibly can after every workout session, if you can. It shouldn't take you too long, just 5-10 minutes after every session, and you'll be a master by the time the show comes around. You don't want to be in a position where you're a week out from the show and you haven't practiced posing even one time, and now you're struggling to put your routine together, you're struggling to find your balance with your poses, you're struggling to work on your transitions. You just don't want to be in that position because it will show when you step up on stage. Especially in men's physique, we are judged based off of charisma as well. And you can't really be charismatic if you're stumbling through your posing routine and you're not smooth and you're not confident in it. That confidence comes from practice and preparation. So just make sure you practice your posing. And if you're doing classic physique or open bodybuilding, then this is probably even more important because the poses are a lot more unique and just a lot more in general. So I really hope you're practicing your posing. The second tip to compete and win the Alphalete Summer Shredding Classic is to focus on your recovery. Okay, focus on your recovery. And stick with me here for a second. Hear me out. When you're on prep, your body is in a delicate state. Your body is extremely fragile. Anything you do has an impact on your physique. And not only does it have an impact on your physique, but it has an impact on how you feel as well. So there's a visual impact and there's an internal impact along with that. What do I mean by that? I mean, if you go off track with your diet, if you miss a day of training, if you go off from your plan in any way, you will notice it. That being said, you want to perform your best, of course. You want your workouts to be on point. You want your energy throughout the day to be on point. You don't want to be walking around like a zombie all the time. And to an extent, there's almost no avoiding that, especially as you get later into the prep. But what you can do to optimize your performance is to optimize your recovery. Make sure you're getting enough sleep. Make sure you're drinking enough water. Make sure you're taking time throughout the day just to focus on your breathing and center yourself mentally. That makes a big difference there. So make sure you're doing all of these things to take care of yourself at the same time. If you do cryotherapy, keep doing the cryotherapy. If you go to the sauna, go to the sauna. Don't cut these things out. Don't cut yourself short on sleep. Don't compromise on any of these issues because it will make a difference in how you feel. And I am of the belief that if it makes a difference in how you feel, it's going to make a difference in how you look as well. So if you want to look your best, then you should aim to feel your best, at least given the circumstances as well, because of course you're not going to be feeling that great in comparison to when you're just eating whatever you want. But again, you want to feel as good as you possibly can given those circumstances. And the way you do that is by taking care of yourself and not neglecting your recovery. It's very important. The last tip, the third and final tip for someone to compete and win the Alphalete Summer Shredding Classic is going to come down to mindset. Mindset, ladies and gentlemen, mindset is everything. If you only take one thing from this video, take this. Your mindset is what determines the results on that day of the show. Your mindset for the 8 or 12 or however many weeks you've been prepping, that is where the show is won or lost, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? And I'm not exaggerating. Your mindset is what makes it happen. You need to clear your life as much as possible from any and all distractions. You need to be locked in. You need to be dialed in. You need to be focused on the mission. That is how you bring your best to the stage. You can't be split in all these different directions. Girlfriend here, job there, family here, something else there. You just can't. If you want to bring your best physique to the stage, you need to be locked in on the mission. You need to be locked in with your meals. You need to be eating the same times every day. You need to be training the same time every day. You need to be tracking your workouts. You need to be tracking your diet. You need to be tracking your sleep. You need to be focused 100%. There is no time. There is no room for doubt. There is no room for distractions in your life. If you're ever going to focus on something, let it be now. For these 8 or 10 or 12 weeks, you need to tell everyone in your life what you're doing, what you have going on, and what you need from them, which is essentially to leave you alone. Because the more distractions you have, the more temptation you have, the easier it will be to fall into those distractions and fall into those traps, right? And I see this most often, especially with relationships. And I'm talking about relationships with your significant other, maybe with your family as well, but specifically with your significant other. You need to be clear with this person what to expect during this time that you are on prep, and you need to make sure they understand the mission and they are willing to support you, because it will get ugly, especially if they don't have that understanding. And I can tell you a personal story here. The last time I competed was around the end of 2021. I was in a relationship at the time, and I have to say, my girlfriend just did not understand the assignment. She supported me verbally, but when it came down to it at the end of the day, I really think that prep put a rift in our relationship that we could never recover from. And it might have even been a reason why we broke up just a couple months later after the show. I just don't think she really understood my level of dedication, my level of commitment, and she took it personally. She thought that I just didn't like her anymore. She thought that I was just pissed all the time. She just started thinking all of these things that really had nothing to do with her and was more so me just focused on my mission. And I tried to explain these things, but it is what it is. She just didn't understand. So maybe I could have communicated a little bit better, but that's not the point. The point is you need to lock in your mindset, and you need to let the people around you know what's going down. You need to let them know what's up, because the more you communicate with them, the more you can save these relationships, and the more people around you can almost begin to understand what you're going through. They're not going to completely understand because they're not going through it themselves, but the more you communicate, the more you are clear about your expectations and your boundaries throughout this period, the more that people can begin to understand, and the more that they can help you, if anything, or if not help you, at least not hurt you by distracting you and all this other crap. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Those are 3 tips to compete and win at the Alphalete Summer Shredding Classic. Practice your posing, optimize your recovery, and lock in mentally. Okay? I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your support, and I'll see you in the next one. Shoot for the stars.